So we are back on the next episode of the Combat Subs podcast, and I'm here with my guest, Lucas Barbosa, and you guys probably know him as the Hulk. Most people that know jiu-jitsu know Lucas, so he's a 4-time black belt, and we were talking earlier today, and he corrected me. I said 3. He was like, "No, bro, it's 4." So
Yeah.
4-time no-gi world champ. He's a black belt world champ in the gi. He's 2-time pan champion. But I definitely want to thank you for coming on, Lucas. I appreciate it.
3-time pan champion.
3-time pan champion. Again, so I messed up. Basically,
Yeah,
he's won so much stuff. There's no way for me to count how much stuff he's won.
I get even me, man. Sometimes I was like, oh, I have to like count my miles. Like, oh man, how many times do I have? Like, yeah. I still get confused, but you know, it's good though. It's good, right? This is the good thing.
That's a good problem to have, because I'm the 0-time world champ, so that's a really easy number to remember.
Definitely, yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to first thing I want to do is I want to thank you, Lucas, because whether you know it or not, you showed me probably the easiest, but one of the most effective techniques that I know in jiu-jitsu. I was watching you, I don't know, maybe he was Worlds at 18 or 17 with Leandro Lowe, and he had you in close guard, and he was grabbing a cross collar, and all you were doing was literally like ducking your head under. Yeah. And I was like, shit, like that makes so much sense, and it's so easy. And so I want to thank you for teaching me that, even if it was through the internet.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool technique. I don't know if it's a technique, but it's like as a way that I used to clean up, you know, the guys every time they do like cross collar, and I always look my head under. I learned that when I was like blue belt, I think white belt, and every time I was like getting close guard, I hate when people grab my collar, so I like working a choke. So I had to figure out something, and that was like I always worked really well, especially like even though if you start in the close guard and you let the guy grab your collar and you stand up, the guy will open the guard and start working the De La Riva, and he already is gonna have his grip, you know. So one of the things that I like to do is like every time I dig my head under, he like when he realizes he have the same side of the collar, and he's like, oh shit, what am I gonna do? And then he's gonna try to work it again. So the guy gets your opponent gets frustrated, and you make him work something else. So it's very tricky. I like that.
Like I said, like it's ridiculously simple but very effective.
Right.
And it's great.
Exactly.
All right, cool. So obviously, right, on this podcast, we interview some of the best in the game. We want to figure out, right, how do they train? How do they do what they do to get to where they are? So I want to ask you this, Lucas. What is it about your game that stands out the most to you? About what is it about your jiu-jitsu that maybe is your favorite, or what you have a favorite position, a favorite submission, something like that?
Yeah. Like the good thing about my game, it's like I like to work on top a lot, you know. But I feel that I develop a lot of areas, all the areas, the like top, bottom, you know, submissions. I work a lot on that, and I feel that my game is pretty like even in everything. But I really like the way I pass, you know, the way that I like work my acrobatic pass, you know, get on the side. I feel that's like very, very cool to me. So yeah.
And it looks cool.
That's like my science.
Yeah, it looks cool to see a man your size, you know, jumping over other people that you're like, how the hell does a big guy like that do that?
Yeah, like this is a lot of people like they ask me about that, you know, like it's simple, you know. A lot of people like they're scared to do that. I was like, man, I'm gonna like break a bone or something. It's like, no, man, that's chill, you know. The mat's soft, you don't have to worry about it, you know. The worst thing you're gonna just have like you know, like a concussion, but not just
you'll survive.
No, but yeah, it's pretty simple. I've been drilling that like, you know, with my knees. There's a DVD that I showed that actually I don't think I released that yet, but I'm about to release that. But there's like a way that I used to work on this acrobatic pass that I do. I started from your knees, start from like, you know, when you squat, and then we start when you're like when you're standing. So I worked a way that actually makes it easier for you to work all of that passes. So I mean, like a lot of people, they're scared because they don't know how to do it. This is why it's scary when you try something that you don't know. But once like you start like getting some explanation about it, and then you're gonna, oh yeah, that's kind of makes sense. So this is pretty much what I developed, you know.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So obviously you're good at lots of different parts of jujitsu, right? Top, bottom, passing, all of that stuff. Is there one part of your game that you wish, like, man, I wish I could be better at this?
Yeah, yeah, man. I think, let me see, I think with my guard rotations, I pretty much work the basics, you know, like pushing, you know, like I'm not good at inverting a lot, but I have to, but I feel, because I feel that I do not let people give me some certain position that is very uncomfortable for me, like stacking, you know, that's a really annoying. And I
Right.
really had like have a hard time if people do that. But there's people that they're like very comfortable and they can get out of that really easy. But yeah, I feel that like only my guard rotations, you know, like I wish it could be more flexible on that. But it's just about the flexibility. But I do use my own ways to recover the guard, to avoid people to get on my side, you know. But sometimes I really have to work hard. If someone's on my side, it's like, oh shit, and then start like, you know, inverting. It's like, oh my back, fuck, working and stuff. But you know, that's the only thing.
All right. So the next time I roll with you, I will make sure that I try to do a pressure pass and, get you to invert, and then I'll clearly easily pass your guard. We'll be good.
Oh, okay, okay. That's go on the right side though.
Okay. I have to go to the right. All right. I can do
Yeah.
that.
Now this is a tricky one, because I remember like a tournament that I was fighting in Brazil, that I had my foot hurt, and I was like, man, I gotta tape that foot because it's hurting a lot. Because I like a fight before, I heard that foot, like someone like try to strafe lock me, but I defend, but it still hurt. I was like, fuck, I can't even walk. I gotta tape it. So I thought in my mind, I was like, man, if I tip it the right foot, the guy probably gonna get my foot on that side. So you know what I did? I tipped the wrong foot. So I knew the guy was like always attacking on that foot. So every time I was going, it's like, holy shit, this guy is not tapping. I was like, that's not the foot I want, right? So that was a tricky one, man. It was good. It was good. I ended up winning this fight, though. I submit the guy.
No, that
To his.
yeah, that's a great strategy, man.
Right,
If one
right.
side hurts, tape the other side, and then they'll go that way.
Yeah,
I like that.
it's brings too much attention that.
Perfect. All right.
Or either like tape one foot, or like, or either like I don't tape it, or I do tape both, like the feet, my feet. So.
All right. So let's kind of go back in the day. So when you were little Hulk, how did you initially get into jujitsu?
I started when I was 14 years old. My uncle, he was a cop back in the day, and in Brazil, all the cops, they love jiu-jitsu in Brazil, because they feel like, oh, it's a, because in Brazil they want to look scared, they want to look mean, and they want to do like look tough, and jiu-jitsu is like a big thing over there. So if you do jiu-jitsu, people don't want to mess around with you. So he used to take me. I was like spending vacation at his house, and he's like, "Yo, you guys are not doing anything here, my, like." I was a kid. I just want to like play soccer or something, and he was like, "Yo, you guys have to do some training with me. Let's go." And he took me and his kids, my cousins. We all went to train, and I was just remember, I was like, "Oh man, damn, what I'm doing here, I hate this." So I started training, and man, I trained for like the first month. I was like, didn't really like it. I just went there because he was actually like forcing me to go there. But and then after like a month or two, he put me to fight a tournament. And I remember I went to this tournament. I was already like brand new, and this guy, he was like a white belt, horse ride. He beat the shit out of me, man. And I was like, fuck. He beat me and my cousin, right? We were both in the same division, and he beat us really bad. And I remember my cousin, he was crying after losing, and I was just like, that's fine, like it's not a thing for me. But I was like, I got really I got really obsessed with that. I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna be good at this. And then I started training more, started training harder. And then I started liking actually with the time. That was like training harder, try like I always like to be the same level as my cousin, try to beat him. And then I passed the level. And then I remember I fought the guy again. I beat him like twice on the same day in a weight and open class. And it was like, and then I was like, I'm here now. This is how
Were, were you the typical white belt, like grabbing as hard as you can, handshaking, almost throwing up at the end of the competition because you're going so hard? Were you that typical
yeah,
guy?
man, I remember when this was a white belt, I was only playing on top. I feel that when you're a white belt, it's the best way for you to be working on top than your bottom. Bottom is so much complicated because you don't know how to do work, guard retention. You don't know how to work some de la rivas. This is very complicated for you. Like nowadays, yeah, maybe, I don't know. But I feel that's way easier for you to play on top than the bottom. I remember my coach saying, "Is like, man, I just want to take the guy down and stay on top. Just fight to stay on top." So it was just like pretty much what I was doing. Like I was taking everybody down. People are trying to sweep me. I was just like working on my posture, my base. This is pretty much what I have to do. And like
Yeah.
avoid to get choked, just like the counter, just like that's it. That was pretty much. I remember that I fought like my first tournament as a white belt. The first tournament that I won, actually, I went to Manaus, where's the place where Xande, Saulo, all the Jacaré they're from. It's in the northern Brazil, and it's very the competition there is like a lot of people. Is it's very hard. And I remember that I had like 5 fights as a white belt. Man, I was like shit. I was like, like as a white belt, 5 fights. And then I remember that my first fight, I got an armbar. I took the guy down, and the guy he like armbarred me, and I was like, fuck, man, shit. And the first fight, I was like, fuck, no, I'm not gonna tap. The only I remember was like still young. I was probably like more flexible than I am now, So I remember I was like, man, I I took a bus here like 12 hours to lose in the first fight. Hell no. You know what? I'm gonna keep doing it. Like guys trying like really hard on my arm, I resisted, and then I got out. I went. I remember like I got out and I submit the guy, and then I won all the fights. But that was like pretty much doing the same thing, taking everybody down and stay on top. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that for all of us that are white belts, like if you can take the guy down, at least get those 2 points, generally you're okay because the guy he'll close his guard and try to hold on for dear life, and then
Yeah.
he doesn't know what to do. You don't know what to do. She's like, all right, well if I stay here, I'll be okay.
Yeah, exactly. In the white belts, like the referees, they're kind of okay, like he's a white belt. I'm not gonna start giving him like penalties all the time because white belts. But yeah, this is why like people wonder like why like I'm good like defending. It's pretty much because of it. Like I was like playing to be on top and like being like defending all the attacks. I think this is how I get to be work on my stance.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. All right. So, you talked about the fact that you grew up in Brazil, you had your first tournaments there. When did you move to the US?
I moved to US in 2015 after winning my world title as brown belt. I received my black belt uh, by my brother. Uh, he was the guy who's actually taught me from white to to black. And but before that, I was because I'm from Roraima. It's like a state like in the northern Brazil. Um, then like I was like purple belt at the time when I got this invitation. A guy like he asked me if I want to move to Rio to try to fight professionally, and then I was like, why not? I'll take this experience. So I went there, started living at the gym, uh, stayed there for like 3 years or so, and then after winning all my like some tournaments, getting experience there, I was like, I'm gonna move to US. I got the opportunity to train with Galvão, so I was like, man, why not? You know, Atlas is the best team in the world right now. So it was like the guys we have to train with the best guys here, and I had no doubt that here would be the best training for me if I would really wanted to to evolve as a black belt, I would have to get a better training because I was in Brazil. I was training with the, you know, at the gym that I was training. I was training with a lot of light guys, you know, lower belts. I was working a lot of mat tacks. I was really good at working at mat tacks. But when I started fighting with the guy who was actually put me in a hard situation, like I wasn't playing bottom that time as much. Every time I get on bottom, I was getting really frustrated. So I was ended ended up I was ending I was end up losing the fight. So and I figured out that I was like, man, I need to get a better training. So I'm gonna move to US. Got my black belt now. I'm gonna enjoy Atos, and you know, so you know, from that to here, that's
Yeah.
what I think.
And so obviously, you know, you train in Athos now at HQ. So you have, you know, Andre Galval, you have Kynan, you have, you know, Josh Hinger. There's a bunch of just monsters that you train with all the time.
Yeah,
You know, thinking about whether it's your training partners or guys that you faced in competition, who's the either toughest or most frustrating opponent that you've ever faced?
it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say because I feel that everyone that you train there, it's like it's not an easy training. You think they're gonna be like, oh, it's kind of like a tournament. It's like a world. I mean, man, I'm gonna do the first round with Kaina, second round with the Gustavo, then Galvão, then it was like, it's really tough. But I don't know, man. I have a hard shot. I've been training a lot with Kynan. You know, he's young, he's hungry. You know, he's the best right now. He's been winning a lot of things. Um, I believe that like we train together. He's like my toughest trainer right now, Professor Galvão. He's been teaching a lot. So when he used to train with us, when he used to train and compete and teaching, like he was like I was training, compete, you know, and teaching. He was always like there every day, like fighting. But now that he's only focusing on you know, giving more attention to the students. And now I've been only working a lot with Kynan. I train with all the guys that I'm in. There's a lot of guys, but I do get a lot of rounds with Kynan every day. I try because he's like, you know, tall. His game is very diverse. So I like training with him. I learn a lot from him.
All right. So be honest, when you guys roll, who normally wins or gets more taps? Is it him or is it you?
Oh man, it depends. I feel this depends a lot. I feel that now that he's not on the like in the competition mood, you know, like when you have like a competition mood, like man, I'm gonna have a fight in like in 3 weeks, and then you start changing your mind. You start like being more competitive on the mat. But then when you do not have it, you kind of like chill just when that you train hard, and then I feel that it changes sometimes. This is what I feel, you know. But we're pretty much like a back and forth, back and forth. You know, I remember I used to beat him up all the time because he was like way lighter than me, and also he was like purple and brown, and then like after he started doing like brown to black, and then it started like giving me a hard time, and then he started like beating me up more frequently. But now we're back and forth. It's not a day that like, oh, he only beats you. No, it's always like same, you know, because
So
we training together like for a long time, so we know the game, you know, like, you know, it depends. It depends.
sure. So, you know, when let's say you don't have a big competition coming up and you're just, you know, kind of doing your normal training, are you practicing new moves, new positions just to try to get more comfortable with that? And then as the competition gets closer, then it's more focusing in on, all right, here's my game plan and I'm going to focus on those moves. Is that how your training works?
Yeah, I pretty much do that. I like to work new stuff all the time. You know, try to see like what I'm missing in my game, and then I start working, developing there. And then when I have a tournament around, then I start figuring out my game for the opponent that I'm fighting. But if it does, like if I'm trying new things and start working a lot, I'll definitely keep working on that to try to add to my game. But I do pretty much this. I try I you know, usually when I like training, I don't have competition. I'm chilling, training with, you know, light guys, heavy guys, and start working something different. I don't care, no ego. Um, no a lot of competition, you know, because sometimes when you're like in a competition mood, you want to win the rounds like by anything. It's like, man, I'm gonna make an charge this guy. I'm just gonna like pull. I'm gonna, you know, try to win for like if I tap him, then it's fine. But if I win by one advantage the round, that's fine too. But when you do not have a tournament around, you know, you just want to like roll, you don't care. You go straight to the, you know, for the porrada, for the fight,
Yeah.
and then you don't care if you win or lose. You just want to go do your best.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. So let's say you don't have a competition coming up, or a competition is 3 months away or something like that. What does your training normally looks like? Like how many days are you rolling and how many days are you lifting?
If I don't have a tournament, it depends. I always try to keep my schedule, the same schedule, like training 3 times a day, 2 times a day. Um, but I think I just the only thing that I try to change is the intensity. You know, I try to go, you know, like I don't go really hard with the toughest guys in the gym. You know, I don't try to roll with all the toughest guys in the training. You know, I go I train with one tough guy, and then I go with the lighter guy, and then I start like, you know, going back and forth so I can, you know, I can still breathe. I can still like be moving. This is the most thing. You don't want to get exhausted, you know, everything's like, why am I doing this? I'm not even like having a competition. You're probably gonna get hurt, you know. So you gotta be smart on this. This is pretty much what I do.
And then so, what about, like strength and conditioning, that sort of thing? Like what do you do in the off season or when you don't have a competition coming up? What does your training look like?
Uh, I feel that like my training is still the same. Like I on the on the work, yeah, my workout training, I still try to like lift heavy, you know. Um, I train with the guys, electron performance is the guys that take care of Atos. Um, I feel that I don't change anything on the program. We keep doing the same. All of they always like write. They make you a program that depending like how you're feeling, if you have an injury or not. They always like make sure they change everything and start working on the your weak spots and everything. So I don't feel that I change a lot on my weightlifting program, but I do train like I try to train 3 times a week. I try to lift weight 3 times a week.
And are you doing more like Olympic weights, like deadlifts, squats, cleans,
Yeah,
like even bench press, like that kind of stuff?
bench press. Yeah, I work a lot on that. We don't do a lot of CrossFit thing. Like jumping, like like the way they do. We work some specific exercise that actually helps jiu-jitsu because I feel that a lot of people in Brazil, I don't know here, but they like working like in a CrossFit style, making those conditioning with the strength. I don't know, it's like those exercises like how do you call that, like a functional, I don't know how
Yeah, like functional training or functional fitness. Yeah.
training. Yeah, we pretty much just work. We work on strength, a lot of strength. We have weeks that we go like really heavy, and then we go light. Work more repetition, less repetitions. So yeah, there's a lot of different programs that we work.
Do you do anything for like flexibility, mobility to keep you agile, being able to move around, or not a lot?
Man, I don't actually. This is one of the problems that I have. This is why I'm not flexible at all. Actually, this is one of the things that I put on my booking list. I have to work on this on this area. I haven't like missing a lot. I usually when I was doing for work preparation for ADCC, I was actually working this, but then I stopped it, and then I just like kept doing my thing. But I felt that now I need it. I really need it.
So what does your diet look like? Again, kind of out of camp, just a regular week, You know, do you eat fairly healthy, or do you kind of eat whatever you want? What does that look like?
Yeah, this is like a thing that a lot of people they're very curious about. Like I try to eat clean as much as I can. I'm not like a guy that like um I I suffer, you know, like, oh my God, like I can't eat this candy, I can't eat this ice cream. It's like I feel like whenever I want to eat something, I will eat. But especially if I do not have a tournament close, you know, coming, and then it's like it depends. I eat a lot, even though even in the when I have like competition now, I always try to eat clean as much as I can, but I don't mind if I eat, you know, like other stuffs. But I try to eat as clean as I can. I do have a diet. I do have a diet. I try to follow, but I feel if I want to, like, if my body needs it, I do it. You know.
Do you have a favorite cheat meal, like, you know, something where you know it's not good for you, but you still eat it every now and then because it's delicious?
Oh man, there's a lot. People, I like having ice cream. Ice cream is good. Yeah, I don't really like chocolate, but ice cream is like one of the things that I like.
Yeah.
Hamburgers, like, it's okay. I eat it. I don't feel that it's not. It depends of the burger. I don't try to eat, like, In and Out. I don't eat. I like In and Out, but it's not a thing that, oh my God, I love this. But I feel that ice cream is like, it's really good. This is my weakness.
We all have one, so it's okay.
Right? Yeah. But
All right. So now let's say, you know, you have a competition coming up in 2 weeks, because you do, right? You're going down to Brazil. You have BJJ Stars.
yeah.
All right. So what does your training look like leading up to that?
Right now, I started actually working my preparation like 2 weeks ago. I was already training, so now I just increase the training. Like now, like start having more hard sparrings. Still doing two times trainings a day. Um, right now, like just working on my thing. I think this week I'll just keep doing one more week now, just like working like hard, and the week after I'm just gonna slow down a little bit. You know, so there's not much to do. It's like the competition 7 minutes, um, three three fights. I feel that it's fine. It's not like a big deal. Like compared to IBJJF, they have to fight like, you know, 4 fights in the division, you know, another 5 at the absolute, you know, 10 minutes. So, you know, three rounds of 7 minutes is it's kind of cool. It's kind of okay. The guys are really tough though. So, but I feel that we're training. I'm doing well. I'm doing the right thing, the right preparation. So I I have no doubt that I'm gonna get that in shape.
So I have a question, because this is the hardest part for me when I go to a tournament. Is the first fight is easy to like get up and get ready, and then you win that first fight, and then it's 15 minutes or 45 minutes until the next fight. How do you get up, go down, and then get back up and get ready for that next fight?
Uh, I actually I try to like now I feel that I have a lot of experience, so I don't feel that adrenaline, that too much adrenaline more. So I know how to deal with that, because, you know, once you start like having it all the time, you already know how to make yourself comfortable with that. So I don't know. I just try to stay as calm as I can, try to stay as focused as I can before the fight. Um, First fight out is the toughest one, but I feel that I try to always stay the same, you know, in all the fights, the fights that I do. I don't like try to hype it up. If I'm like just sleepy, you know, and then I want to try hyping myself up again to try to keep the same level. But yeah, I I feel that like a lot of people like, you know, depends. I think everyone's different. I personally like to be, you know, more chill. I like to I like to be chill, but always focus on the fight. I don't like to hype myself up too much and then go fight. I feel that it can be a mistake for me. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So let's say, you're an hour out from a big fight, whether you're, ADCC or IBJJF Worlds or whatever. What does your routine look like an hour before your first match?
my routine before the first match,
Yeah.
um, I feel I just like to be I just like to be I don't know, I just like to be hanging out with people. But when me at the area or before like waking up, everything like.
Yeah. So, let's say your first match is at 2 o'clock,
Mhm.
right? And it's 1 o'clock. From 1 to 2, what happens in that hour? Like, are you just kind of hanging out? Are you
Oh
warming
yeah,
up,
yeah.
like,
No,
grilling?
I usually start actually 1 hour before my fights. I start warming up. I try warm up really good, like 1 hour before. This 30 minutes, the first 30 minutes, I start like trying to burn my lungs. Try to have a make sure I have a really good warm up, and then the last 30 minutes before my fight, and then I just relax, calm, and then when it's like 10 minutes before, I just try to like move myself a little bit before my fight, and then I'll go to the area.
Okay. And when you're going into a tournament, how much weight do you typically have to cut? Like, do you have to cut a lot, or do you walk around pretty close to what you compete at?
Yeah, yeah, pretty close, pretty close. I usually is like 2 pounds, 2 3 pounds
Mm,
sometimes. It's pretty easy for
that's
me.
not bad.
I have a I don't really like to cut a lot of weight. Especially for jiu-jitsu, because we fight at the same time, like you fight right after you weigh yourself.
Yeah.
So it feels like a day before, yeah, and then I can drop my weight, like I can do like a big cut, big weight cut. But when it's like same day, I feel that I I prefer to stay a little bit like over, a little bit under. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter. If I'm going to division that's like just have 2 pounds, 3 pounds like over, I still will sign up for that. You know. So
Yeah. Okay.
I don't usually like to cut weight. So
So, as you start to think of, what the future holds for you, obviously ADCC champ, I'm assuming is on that list as one of
uh-huh.
the things you want to do. What are some of the other things that you want to get into as you progress in your career?
I've been I've been putting on my list a lot of the. I wanted to start MMA again before my before started doing jiu-jitsu professionally. I've I had I fought 3 times MMA, and now that I pretty much achieved all my goals in jiu-jitsu, now I only need the ADCC. That's it. And then I want to start doing MMA. I feel that if I can start doing MMA now, if I was still gonna be able to train my no-gi, and then I feel that I can still be in shape, can still like training with the guys here at Atos. My level is still gonna be, the same. So I pretty much actually want to, do both. I want to do jiu-jitsu and MMA. Okay, I love competing in jiu-jitsu. And depending how it goes in MMA, I'll keep doing it. If not, if I suck MMA, I'll go back to jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
So, are you working on striking now, or are you just focused on jujitsu and you'll do striking later?
Yeah, right now I'm only focused on jiu-jitsu and out of the competition, but I'm already doing my schedule. I'm changing my schedule now, trying to add like 2 or 3 times a week some MMA training. And then when I have like a MMA fight coming up, then I'll focus on doing only MMA every day, because I trained before, so I already know I have some knowledge about MMA, like, and I know how to box, and jiu-jitsu. I think that I just have to get some experience on the strategy. That's it. I feel this is pretty much what I feel, because I already have the mindset for a tournament. I already, I don't get that pressure from having a fight, because I fight every month. So just having one more fight for me is just like pretty much, the same. I would deal with the same thing.
All right, so MMA is next, but like I said, you have a competition in 2 weeks, BJJ Stars. Who do you have in the first round?
They haven't released the bracket yet.
Okay.
They released only like a day before or two, I think. But I know that the way they're making the brackets, it's gonna be one side will be Marigali, and the other side is gonna be Felipe Pena, and then they will decide who's going to be on bottom, and the guy who is like on the side of the bracket would choose like the fight. I'm pretty sure maybe I'll be the guy. I don't know, but let's see. I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, if people don't know about you, they don't already follow you. I know you have obviously an Instagram, you have a vlog, right? I know like you and Kynan went on the road and did that. What's your vlog?
Yeah, we called Road and Roll, because we started doing that because we travel a lot, me and Kynan. A lot of people want to know like what we do for training, like how's like our daily, things. And we're gonna start like doing more videos for the people. It's English and Portuguese. Like we were in Brazil the first time when it started, so we did in Portuguese, there. But now that we're back in America, we're gonna start doing more in English.
Perfect. And then I know you have a couple of instructionals out, like the Hulk stance just came out on Jiu Jitsu X, right?
Yeah, I have the Hulk stance to Jiu Jitsu X. Planning on working more on single leg, on single leg X attacks. Actually, yeah, single leg X passes. Because I feel that a lot of people get caught on single leg X and they don't know like what to do, and they have a really good positions that I can show that I can kill they can neutralize that position. So I'm planning on talking to Keenan that to start doing another instructional. But the hook stance there, I show a little bit of my cartwheel passes, the way that I work my stance to avoid the guy, to neutralize them and pass the guard. So go to Jiu Jitsu X. Also, I have the Top Game DVD at the BJJ Fanatics. So I'm start releasing more techniques. I haven't released a lot of techniques yet because I was only worrying about competing, and I didn't have training to think about like, oh, I gotta take because making instructional takes a lot of work. You have to think, you have to get a day and spend the whole day to make instructional. And now that I'm competing less, I'm starting working more on my instructionals, showing people more about my game, So
Perfect.
Coming soon.
All right, there we go. So go to Jiu Jitsu X. He has the Hulk stance. He's got more coming, so check him out. On Instagram, he's at Lucas Barbosa JJ, and then like I said, on YouTube, him and Kynan roll around and they talk. The first one I saw was in Portuguese, so I don't know what the hell you guys were saying, but you were laughing a lot and driving around, so that was cool.
Yeah, but at least you got the vibe. You got the vibe. The vibe.
I got the gist of what you were doing, but like I said, I didn't know what the hell you were talking about.
Yeah, next time we work on that. Once I start getting bigger, we're gonna start working some captions. We're gonna do more English and Portuguese. It'll be cool.
Perfect. So Lucas, again, I really appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you.
Eric, I appreciate you, man. It was great talking to you, showing a little bit of my experience to you guys. Hope everyone enjoys. A lot of success for you on the podcast. Supplement, really love it, man. BJJ Stars is gonna be on fire with this.
Awesome. Yeah. Hulk's gonna crush it with the pre-roll.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks a
Cool.
lot.
Thanks, Lucas.